Hey you guys, JMan37X bringing episode 23 of Epic Battle Fantasy V. Last time, we finished our initial exploration of Greenwood Forest, and started to take care of a couple of the enemies here in the Bamboo Forest. This time we're going to continue on with that trend, and also maybe do a little bit of I forgot, we actually have the axe now, so that is going to potentially allow us to do some interesting things. I think I forgot to mark that earlier. No, I think that's fine, actually. Yeah, so we could actually do a little bit more in Greenwood Forest as well, now that we have the axe. Also, right at the very end of the episode last time, I noticed this. It's got an Easter egg, which is one of the seasonal key items that I don't know. I don't think he's even... Maybe either he hasn't implemented it, or it's just because it's not Easter season yet, but I actually don't think you can use these at the moment. Maybe you can if you change your system clock, I don't actually know. But anyway, we're going to go for this encounter here. This is going to be a bit of a tricky one, I think. I don't want to get infected or something. I didn't actually have time to read that. So we have our pink squids, the first squid enemy that we've fought in the game, I believe. Mammoth of the Sea, mostly uses water spells. It's got one ice spell, which is unfortunate because basically he can inflict wet on you and then use the ice spell to take advantage of it. And if you hit him with enough damage at once, he will lose his arms. I think permanently, which is nice. I know in EBF3 at least you had to fight the tentacles separately, which is kind of interesting. You see he's got quite a few pretty big weaknesses. So, same with the scaly worms here. Quite a few, they're actually the same weaknesses, interestingly enough. Crippling sting, but chances are you can dodge it most of the time. These guys, I think, can call in other scaly worms. I think the worms summoning other worms is a bit different on a worm-by-worm basis, I guess. But either way, I think I'm going to focus on them, to be honest. We're actually going to throw down some buffs. I think we're probably going to want them for this fight. We're like on par for level, most of our team is at least. Lance is a little bit under. I think everyone else is, oh, Nat is too, okay. So it's slightly under-leveled. Not too much, but a couple levels can make a pretty big difference in this game, I've learned. We're going to do a poison gas because basically poison is going to be a pretty big asset, I think, in this entire fight. We want to survive to try again. Yeah, so Lance just got his ability to use his limit breaks. Don't plan on, of course, using them in this pretty inconsequential fight. Wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of that again. So you see the worms. It's an interesting set. Physical defense and accuracy. It's a very interesting set of stats to increase. Let's see here. I think we'll go for... Actually, I think I'm going to go for a debilitate here. And then... Which extra damage we'll get? Defense 50% means double damage, not plus 50%. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how it works. I think Matt's got it. We're going to use... Surge actually is... Yeah, it's a lot better. Okay. Wait, hold on. Basically, I want to try and disarm the squid is what I'm trying to build up to right now. So I'm going to do everything in my power to... We have to make sure we don't kill him also. Same with these guys, actually, now that I look at it. But either way, I'm not going to be focusing on them too much for a bit here. I just really want to disarm the squid. It's going to make our lives a lot easier, I think. There we go. 10,000 damage in one hit. Not too shabby, I don't think. Okay. Regular attack disables, huh? That's interesting. Did not realize that. Damn. Okay. Well, that was unfortunate. I was right. We weren't targeting the worms, but it didn't actually make a difference. Okay, he's a little bit low now. Let's go ahead and switch to capture mode real quick. This guy's probably going to be a little bit trickier to capture. He's not poisoned or anything. But this should be decent odds. Oh, okay. That was easier than I thought. Honestly, the whole fight was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Okay, so unfortunately, rips, no scaly worm capture. But also, they weren't guarding anything. It was just an extra encounter. But a couple good captures. Speaking of which, I didn't actually look at the capture. Whoops. 400 power single target dark attack. Debuffs the target's accuracy and makes them invisible. There's not, at least from what I've seen, there's not a lot of ways so far to inflict invisible or enchanted onto an enemy. So the fact that it does that is pretty interesting, and it's something you'll want to remember. It could potentially be helpful as a result. Again, I don't actually know. I haven't used summons like that very much, but it could potentially be really good for doing like double damage or doing high damage setups. So it's just something to keep in mind. Okay, so hopping into this fight here quick. It's just a bunch of pretty standard stuff, all with weaknesses that you would expect. We're gonna take out the bomber just because I don't really want him getting free. His evade isn't even that good. That was actually quite unlikely to miss there. It's unfortunate. Okay. We could just do Bolt Boogie. There we go. Oh, that actually might kill them all. Oh. Okay, not exactly what I wanted, but that's fine. Shouldn't they be off hibernating or eating snow or something lame? So you'll notice something on the first turn. The pandas did nothing. Oh. Well, so much for that. Okay, so the interesting thing about the panda bears, they literally will do nothing if you don't attack them. It won't even bother to attack unless you give it a reason to. Basically, that between turn effect just meant that this panda bear is now going to attack us. Besides that, it has the same properties as other bears, where if you hit it with a strong enough attack, it'll berserk itself. Basically, these fights are kill everything except the panda bears and then kill the panda bears one at a time. The panda bears are really not that bad, especially when you can single them out very easily with literally with built-in mechanics. But unfortunately, that is not going to be so easy this time. Jeez, okay, let's... Even still, I'm gonna focus on the Tanuki dogs. That's a cool attack. Yeah, it sure is. Good, because it's ice. Very funny. Nice one, Matt. I haven't upgraded that at all yet. Okay. Let's... I think your ice arrow is pretty well fleshed out-ish. Chance to be frozen, actually. Didn't kill, no freeze either. Okay. So as long as we don't berserk him and don't do much more damage to him, his attacks are still pretty weak. So it's not too bad. I'm gonna try and leave Lance in the fight most of the time, especially on my stream playthrough. Lance was by far the last one to get. Hold on, let me think. What are these guys? Ice. No, I can't really do much. Okay. Lance was by far the one that needed help building up relationships with other characters the most. Wait, that's a magic attack, wasn't it? That was kind of stupid. I don't know why I did that. Okay, well, that's fine. I think either way I was gonna need, I wasn't gonna be able to kill them both in one turn. Yeah, I always have I think I just ended up underutilizing Lance a lot of the time. So I'm gonna try and not do that this time. I'm gonna try and make sure I get good usage out of Lance. So I'm gonna try and keep him in most of the fights whenever possible, at least. No, he should probably just heal himself. He's a little bit frail, as you've probably been able to tell. Maybe I should take a look at some of his defense stats. 52, 57. His magic defense is kind of okay. Also, this is dependent on their equips, but you see, even No Legs has better resist than him, or better defenses. I'm pretty sure he's quite consistently the softest character. So just something to keep in mind. It's one of the interesting things the Panda can do. As you can tell, it's a poison attack. A lot of hits. It's a very cool move. I think there's at least a weapon that will let us use that attack later on. It's a cool one. I'm a big fan of that. So you see he's dry, so this bomb attack actually just a little bit of extra damage. Oh, that thing almost as fast as I load my bow. I think you could probably load it faster than you can your bow, if we're being perfectly honest. You know, let's... Not trying to discredit you or anything, but I'm just trying to be reasonable. Let's go for a stun. It's very unlikely, but it's worth a try. Also, they do this. It's a little bit rude. Never had that happen to me before. That will actually... I can't remember if this has come up before. This might actually be our first bear enemy, now that I think of it. I have a hard time distinguishing what's happening in any given playthrough. But that attack is actually exclusive to having the mature content filter on, or having mature content on. If mature content is off, they actually will not do that attack. Which I find incredibly bizarre, where there's actually an entire attack that is modified by whether or not you have mature content on. I don't think it's even replaced by anything either. That attack just doesn't happen. its head. Oh my god. Oh, Lance. Jeez, okay. Let me think. I think we could probably get... orders. I'll keep the bench warm. Smoking through his surgical mask. That's classic Lance style right there, I swear. Okay, so if we do this, we can probably... And we could obviously do a bit more setup. I don't really think it's necessary. It's actually resistant to all of his elements except water. It's interesting. Oh. Oh, wait. No, it's electric. I'm supposed to use electric. What am I doing? Okay. That was stupid. Yeah, I meant to do electric there. Didn't expect to enjoy fighting this much. So you'll see the virus from that interesting attack is starting to spread its way through the battlefield. I don't think it always necessarily guaranteed even to inflict virus either. We just happened to get it inflicted on us. Bring Lance back out here. I'm not spending too much time like overthinking the strategy of this fight. I'm just kind of throwing out attacks. Oh, there it is again. He actually might die. Okay. One of those sorts of days again, huh? Okay, so let me do a little bit of thinking here. Not much, you know, not... Oh, that's right, I forgot that actually, it's actually debuff resistant, so it's not terribly effective. Okay, I think we're just gonna go ahead and use this. Oh, I forgot, we actually need to capture one of these guys, too. I was supposed to capture Tanuki Dog, too, wasn't I? Whoops. Well, that was a bit of a mistake. Okay, whatever, we'll be seeing more of them in the future. Yeah, that was my bad. Again, I know I do that quite a lot. It really is hard to remember to like get out of the mindset of, oh, I've already captured these guys because I captured them when I streamed it. But it's really hard to remove myself from that mindset. Like in the stream series, I usually don't have much of a problem with it, but here I just do. Okay, Celtic Cross, this is a pretty cool one. Really nice resists, good stats. Intimidates or angers ghost enemies. I don't think we've seen that mechanic yet. Oh, this chest was actually... Okay. Basically, depending on the enemy, you can either get an enemy to surrender, or it will berserk. If you have a weapon like that equipped. Once we find some ghost enemies, I'll be able to maybe show that off a bit more. It's an interesting mechanic. Okay, look, Tanuki Dog's right here. Perfect. We'll go ahead and just capture one of these guys. 22. Okay, these guys are a little bit trickier. We're gonna go for the rescue dog first, because, of course, I would, because this guy's a huge pain in the ass. So we're gonna start with this. Something I didn't mention is that all of Lance's main 3 attacks, they all have really valuable debuffing properties. Where, here, actually, I think No Leg's a little bit more cut out for this. Okay, just barely. We got a curse off, though, which is pretty nice. That'll make capturing this guy a little bit easier. Speaking of which, I'll actually try and poison him too. Damn. Whatever it takes to defeat my foe. Okay, so, his dark attack, as you saw, decreases magic defense. His... hold on, sorry. I'm trying to make sure I focus on capturing this guy correctly. Just get a little bit of debuff. We're gonna just weaken him with a kind of weak attack. And then we'll go for the capture. So yeah, his dark attack decreases magic defense, his fire attack decreases physical defense, and his electric attack decreases evade, I believe. Those are all really valuable. I actually find myself in a lot of cases using those attacks specifically for those debuffs, even like if it's not actually... Also, I forgot to check the summon. Sorry, we'll check them after the fight. Even if they aren't necessarily like super useful to do for the damage type, it's just useful to get those debuffs, especially early on where you don't actually have a good way to debuff magic defense, which is actually going to be the case for a really long time. Just so you know, it's going to be a very, very long time before you have access to a good magic debuffing move. Just so you're prepared for that. It's gonna be a while, so don't be expecting it anytime soon. You're gonna want to try and find other ways to debuff magic defense in the meantime. And his dark attack, once you upgrade it a bit, you know, make it multi-target, you make the debuff more likely to happen. It's gonna be probably your best way to do it for a while. Doesn't end well for you. Okay, so I'd went ahead and buffed up just to make sure, but overall his wave is not too bad. We're gonna have Nat siphon this guy, this doll here, just so we don't have to worry about it. I see that attack, he actually burned himself, which is smart for him because he heals a bit from it. Not much, but we're gonna do single target just to make sure. I don't actually care if we siphon anything else. It's really, we really just want to siphon you. And this might one-shot. Here, hold. I think debilitate should still be. I don't think I used it this fight. Yeah, okay. Okay. You see, he doesn't actually. Debilitate still needs a little bit of work before it's super consistent, but debilitate is a very strong attack, or a very strong move. Definitely one that you'll want to get your mileage out of. That being said, you can also debuff defense and do a little bit of extra damage in some cases if you use Matt's if you use his fire attack, which of course we didn't really want to do here because we didn't want to. Actually, it would have been fine now that I think of it. But anyway, just an example. Lance's, I would say Lance's strong suit over time will become his ability to debuff. He's gonna be, again, it all depends on how you build him. I personally like to build him as a bit more of a support. I think no legs and the Sacred Strike should do the trick here. Yeah, okay. Lance is just inherently good at support. He's good as like offense / support. His attacks just have built-in really good debuffs, and he can learn most of the really good status moves, or like debilitate. I mean, he has poison strike for mass poisoning. He just has a lot of little purposes like that he can help serve. He's a really neat ally. Just one that I personally have a bit of a hard time using sometimes. Mostly just because of his fragile nature, to be honest. Oh, it's actually frozen. Okay, cool. Don't have to worry about that then. And let's see, what can you even do here? Not much, honestly. I guess you can go for one of these guys. Actually, let's go for an unload. Why not? That's why not, I guess. Also, that was Nitro Blast or whatever. Damn, why is... God, I just left of it. I don't know why he was targeting her, too. I really don't know why. I still don't know. I've heard so many conflicting opinions on whether or not Epic difficulty has smart AI or not. I have no idea what to believe anymore. I really don't. We're just gonna do Spark Shower and see where it lands. Did you create ammo like that? It could have been better, but it could have been worse. We got that one guy to surrender at least. Oh, that was a really big heal. Yeah, the Tanuki dogs are pretty annoying. They do a fair amount of pretty obnoxious things, I would say. Oh, we're gonna switch map back in here. This will probably hurt a lot. Yep. Yeah, I would say so. We're gonna do Spark Shower again. Wow. That's really good. Okay. Honestly, just defend these guys. Honestly, all these guys are just gonna surrender. So, that's fine. We're just gonna let them. There is something. I'm gonna show it off in the stats here in a bit. I'm not sure I've showed it yet. Apparently, it influences something. I'm not really sure what. It might influence enemy capture rate or surrender rate or something like that. But if you go in your records here, you can actually see that you have a foes spared versus foes executed. Basically, I believe that's whenever a foe surrenders, if you either capture them or let them flee, they get spared, and if you kill them, they get executed. I think this is only when they surrender. And you want to keep this, you want to spare most of the time. Like I said, I don't know 100% what this does. It's a bit of a hidden mechanic, as is the relationship building between the characters. So just something to keep in mind. So here goes nothing. Okay. No, we're not doing that. Basically, all of the panda bears would start attacking us if we went on like that. As is, we can target these pandas one at a time. Dinner has arrived. The bears might be thinking the same thing. Why is that? That's not supposed to happen that often. Who's doing that? I think it's Anna. You're done. Get out of here. Enough of that. I don't feel like changing our equips around, because in general, that's useful. But it just so happens that in this case, it's very not useful. Let's see. Let's just kill the rescue dog. This guy's gonna be a huge pain if we're not able to take him out. Don't mind taking care of it. I'm just gonna kind of throw everything we got at this guy. Because again, healing enemies are, it's just not something I want to deal with. Okay, and now the bears will do nothing. Basically, this is a way you can grind up relationship really easily, is that relationship goes up per turn that they're in battle with each other. So you can just sit here and defend over and over again, and these pandas will just do nothing, and you'll just keep building up relationship, which I always thought was pretty interesting. You know, intentional or otherwise, it's a pretty neat thing that you can do. But this is probably not going to be useful at all, to be honest. Okay, you can... not that useful, but better than nothing. Okay, we're just gonna take them out in order here, I think. Actually, wait. Let me do this first. Let's bring no legs back on. Another hidden mechanic is that, I don't think I've mentioned it yet. I think that they probably kind of hint towards this somewhere in the game. If you have no legs in battle, he will actually, I think it's like double or triple the amount of relationship that's grown between the other two characters. Also, we're gonna want to get rid of that. Get rid of that berserk. Which is really interesting. So basically, if you have two characters that really need to become better friends with each other, you put those two and no legs in the battle, and then no legs will make their relationship grow much faster. It's really neat. And again, it's another kind of more of a hidden feature in the game, I think. But again, I'm sure they do talk about it somewhere. I'm just not always the most observant. Rick. Okay, so you can kind of see a good way to just take care of these guys. Girls slap me harder than that. Let's go for an unload, actually. No. Oh, nice. Was enough. Okay. Thanks to that little extra bit at the end. Very nice. Okay. Nice one, Lance. So this is the kind of way that I fight the bears, at least. Either you hit them with strong multi-hit attacks, which Lance has actually a lot of, or you hit him with really strong attacks from, like, Matt, and then you just get rid of the berserk, basically, and then it's not much of an issue. He does still get the stat buffs, which is important to note. But even still, it's not too bad. This, I'm not confident I'm going to kill him. Oh, that's actually bad. Well, he used a pretty weak attack, so I guess that's honestly fine. It's kind of strange, but okay. Let's bring no legs out here. Actually, let me do a little bit of thinking ahead here. Now we can do. Actually, now that I think about it, I'm not convinced that that'll actually work. Hold on. Double tap and let's make sure it's dead. Okay. So now, there we go. That's kind of what I was trying. I knew it was going to be really weak attack, but I honestly forgot how weak it was going to be. So that's why I wanted to make sure I actually weakened him. No legs, seems a little bit confused by that one. It's pretty understandable if we're being perfectly honest. I'm curious, who's a bit better at dealing damage right now? 121, okay. We actually are. Bring her out here. Alright, so we do this. Get rid of the berserk. This for a little bit extra damage. Oh, right, minus defense. I forgot about that. I should have done that first. I mean, again, it does, like, nothing right now, because they're resistant to it. What have I gotten myself into? This will probably do the trick here, yeah. I don't need to use aim hacks, it's just all skill. Alright, so that takes out... Oh, so close to a bunch of level ups. Okay. So that takes care of all of the battles around here that I wanted to. So I think we're going to end it off here. Next time is going to be mostly backtracking adventure stuff, I think. We're actually going to start it off by completing this puzzle in this very screen. We'll get this while we're here. But that was really rare, by the way, for you to get that drop from the boulders. But yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. If you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check the description for a link to it. There's no fence. Don't even try accusing me. Get a flare, which is pretty nice. Holy resist. Sorry. Yeah. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check my description for a link to a twitch.tv channel, where I believe tonight we are going to be streaming, at least currently we're planning on streaming some more Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Public Arena with my buddy Sacred Survival. So feel free to stop in for that. I'm hoping to have a game on the side. I tried having Fire Emblem Heroes, but apparently the emulator plus that game uses a lot of... it made the gameplay lag a lot because of internet connection, which is really unfortunate. So I'll try and find something else, don't worry. But, yeah. I think we'll be starting at 6. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Starting at 6 p.m. EST, as usual. Probably going until 10. And... check me out on Discord as well if you want to keep in touch and also stay up to date on any updates to live streaming schedule, anything like that. But yeah, next time we're going to clean up a little bit more in Greenwood, as well as just going back to a few kind of slightly inconsequential, maybe less inconsequential things, now that we've gotten a couple more key items. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys later.